everyone. Welcome again. Welcome back. Glad to be with you all talking through some Google Workspace updates. Just a reminder, I am coming to you all from Bloom's professional development team. Everyone on our team, we are all former classroom teachers and we're all currently licensed educators. And we're all a little bit tech geeks, a little bit, and we really enjoy helping to support teachers with their use of technology in their classroom. If you all have any questions and you'd like to reach out to our team, we can be reached at pd@bloom.com. That's BLUUM.com. And that's going to reach anyone on the team. And we're here to help support. So if you have questions on how you can utilize some of these tools, please feel free to reach out to our team. And again, if you were with us last week, you already heard this, but you're going to hear it again. My name is Kate Hines. I am a former high school Spanish teacher. I taught for 9 years in St. Paul, Minnesota. And then I later was an assistant principal for 2 years in Minnesota or in Minneapolis. And I now have been with Bloom for 2 years, over 2 years. Coming to you all from Minnesota. We are finally out of winter, which is lovely, and hitting like 90 degrees today, which will be great, maybe 80 degrees, finally defrosting a little bit. But again, just our email address, pd@bloom.com, and my awesome colleague Camille is with us today as well, and she has put that in our chat. Camille's going to be helping out from some back-end pieces, so as you have questions, please feel free to post those in our chat. And we'll be there to help support you with any of your questions that you have. All right, team. So with this series, again, last week, we took a look at kind of some of those updates and those different additions that are going to be coming available for Google Workspace. So again, GSuite was the former name, but we're now talking about Google Workspace. So it still has that entire suite of collaborative tools that's available. And last week, we took a look at the different additions that are now going to be available for schools. So you have a lot of different options and you're able to choose what's going to fit best for your teachers, for your students, for your district. If you missed last week, I do have the link to our slide deck from last week available as well. bit.ly/Google Webinar 505. So that was May 5th last week. So if you are wanting to review any of those pieces, please feel free to navigate to that slide deck. And then today, our goal, we're going to be taking a look at some updates from Google Workspace for Education. There's been some things that have already been released, and there's some things that are going to be upcoming that are going to be helpful just to keep your eye out on. Some are going to be really great to be able to know about when we're working with our students for the upcoming school year. And then next week, if you're able to join us, we are planning to provide a question and answer session for any pieces that you might have lingering questions about and anything that we can help support you with as Google's making this switch over to Google Workspace. All right, team. So for today, we are going to be taking a look at 5 core apps and some of those updates that are going to be happening. And these apps are some of the more frequently used applications within a classroom. So there are some fun updates, some good productivity updates, and some classroom management update tools that are going to be really helpful for teachers to know about. I do have linked in there a list for the full list of recent updates, things that are available. And I have also linked in there just to put on your radar some upcoming releases that are going to be happening over the next few months here. Feel free to peruse those, find out what's coming up so that you can see what's to be expected with Google Workspace. All right, we're going to start. I'm going to talk us through Calendar. There has been a few subtle changes, but some changes that are going to be helpful for management pieces. And I do also want to review just some core features and tools that are going to be really helpful for teachers within a classroom. So we're going to see, I'm going to bring us over to Google Calendar. And feel free as well, if you have the availability of another browser tab, to follow along so that you can see if you have the updates yet have been released to your domain. Okay, to navigate to Google Calendar, we can either type in calendar.google.com and log in with your Google account, or if you're already signed in on your Chrome browser, with Google, you have in the upper right-hand corner, you have that 9-dot waffle icon, and that's going to open up your apps list to be able to launch your calendar then. Okay, when we are wanting to create a new calendar event within Google, we see we do have that create plus in the upper left, or I can just click on the day that I want to create a new event. And that's going to pop open my editing window to be able to choose some various times, to be able to add my participants, but also to be able to add a Google Meet. So when we open up a new calendar invite, we'll see that we're first brought to an event. So for events, these are going to be great for you, for teachers, if you have a review day, if you're working with clubs for students, using calendars for your school-wide pieces. Last school that I was teaching at, we used Google Calendar often. We used it for our sophomore teachers. Everyone put on when they were having their test so that we could see when students had a lot of tests coming up for that testing week. Lots of different applications within your environment, but I do want to point out with an event, you are able to add in Google Meet video conferencing. So to be able to add that, you'll click on the blue plus button or that blue Google Meet button. And one update that has really helped with adding on these Google Meets to your calendar invite is that you are now able to adjust any settings for your Google Meet at the moment that you make this calendar invite. Previously, you needed to do it once you launched the meeting or in Google Meet itself. But now you're able, it's all integrated, making it a lot easier, fewer clicks for you, so that I can now come to this settings gear. And when I hover over that, that tells me it's my video call options. And that's going to bring me some additional security options with my host management, making sure that I can really have a heightened security with it if I turn off this quick access. So that I can make sure that it's only the people that I've invited are coming. And this is also where I can invite co-hosts. And if you have our teaching and learning upgrade or education plus, that's where you'll be able to select if you would like to bring in some breakout rooms for your Google Meet, which is really nice to have that ahead of time, right? We're all teachers, we plan things ahead of time. So to have that on the front end is going to be huge to be able to have that readily available. All right, and then we'll be able to add our rooms, our location, description, any attachments. You are able to add attachments straight from your Google Drive. This interface has changed a little bit, but you're still able to bring things straight from your Drive. So if you have an agenda, maybe you have a worksheet or a review that you want to make sure that students have available in that calendar invite, you can add that to your calendar. Alrighty, then back at the top here, we have some additional ways that we can create, I guess not quite events, but how we can create something for it to be held on our Google Calendar. So we have events, and then next over we have out of office for us to be able to notify our colleagues when we're going to be out of office. So if you have a sub coming in and you want to just make sure that maybe you're going to put it on your class calendar and you want to make sure your students know that you're going to be out, it's a great way for you to have that blocked off and have that time available so that nobody will book any meetings with you. So they know that you're out of office for that day. So no after school committees, no clubs, you're going to be out of office that day. And then next over tasks. Tasks are a really great way for you to help keep track of some upcoming tasks that you need to make sure that you have completed. If you need to review a student's IEP, if you have some coursework that you need to make sure you review before it gets submitted to a syllabus, or even just smaller tasks like just clearing out your homework folder, right? Just getting grading done. If you want to have those tasks available. Now with tasks, you can repeat a task. So if I want to make sure every week I have weekly on Tuesday, I'm going to make sure I'm going to clean out. I'm going to clean out that homework folder because I don't need to keep lugging those back home. I just want this quick reminder that this is the day that it's dedicated to this time. Okay. And then I can unclick this all day and then you can choose the time that you're going to do it. Really can be helpful for those smaller tasks or just those tasks that you want reminders for so that you have that visual on your calendar. It's all mapped out. And for those repeating tasks that you know you're going to need to do, maybe even monthly, that's going to be a great way to help you stay more organized. And then also with tasks, JK. You can add in your description. So if you want to make sure that you have that particular description so that you can remind yourself what you need to be working on during that day. And then our last option within Calendar, this isn't new necessarily, but I do like to highlight it because I have met some teachers that either don't know it exists or don't know how to best utilize it. And our last event type or calendar type is an appointment slot. Appointment slots are a game changer, particularly if you're wanting to set up individual meetings with students, if you need to review some pieces with them, if you have a club, if you want to meet with students in sports, or if you want to set up appointment slots for parent-teacher conferences. This is built right into your Google Calendar. So with appointment slots, you're able to choose when you want it to start. So I want my appointment slots for today. And I have parent-teacher conferences. Well, this will be next week. Parent-teacher conferences, I want to set it up for an hour. And instead of it being 60 minutes, I'm going to have 5-minute meetings with parents. So I can choose how long I want my slots to be available. Once I have set those parameters, so the time range that I want to have my appointment slots available and how long I want my appointment slots to be, then the last thing that we'll do is we'll go ahead and click Save. Now I have that appointment slot on my calendar, but to be able to now send it out for maybe parents to sign up for parent-teacher conferences, when I click on that appointment slot calendar icon, I'll now see that I have a link that says go to appointment page for this calendar. Now that I've created this appointment slot, it has its own website. When I click on that then, and I go to next week, I can see I have 5-minute time slots for next Tuesday. I'll then copy and paste this URL and send it out to my parents. So when parents now are wanting to sign up for a time, they want to make sure they have a guaranteed 5 minutes with me because they're getting off of work or they're coming over their lunch break for parent-teacher conferences. They can then click on that appointment slot. Automatically, when they're logged in, it's going to provide them with their name, and then they'll be able to add in any additional details that they want to provide you. It's a really great tool for teachers to help set up those appointment slots and not have that back and forth with trying to figure out the best time for you to meet with parents, for you to meet with students, or for you to meet with other teachers. All right, I'm going to go ahead and X out of that guy. All right, I'm going to pause there with our Google Calendar. Are there any questions that anybody has with those different calendar types that we can create within Google Calendar?
We're looking good so far, Kate.
Beautiful. All righty. Alrighty, so I do have those pieces that we put in here, just that different interface that you might see, set aside times for those focus, those out of office, set tasks to repeat, that front end to be able to create your host settings in your Google Meet before you launch your meeting are all really great features that are available in Google Calendar. All right, we're gonna now move on to Google Docs. There are some pieces that have already been pushed out. You may not see them right away, but they will be available. So within Google Docs, we now have 4 different pieces that we're going to take a look at. The first is an updated way for how you can reply in a comment or for how students can reply in comments. There's now going to be an option for emoji reactions, which, to be honest, when I was teaching, I think I would have cringed a little bit with having emoji reactions in an academic setting, but it's the language that our students know, right? So to be able to bring in something that can quickly and easily allow students to communicate with you or with each other is a great option to be able to utilize. So if I just write out, quick sentence here. Now that I have some text here, when I highlight that text, you're going to see on the right-hand side, you still have your option to add in a comment. So you can still type out your comment if you want to provide feedback for a student. But now you have below that, looks like a yellow smiley face, how you can now add an emoji reaction. When you click on that, that's going to bring out all of Google's emojis. Kids, they really love it. I was a language teacher and I did do an emoji story where I had emojis laid out and the students had to describe it in Spanish. I've had another teacher utilize emojis so that they could have students whose writing ability wasn't quite at grade level for them to still provide their input, for them to still provide their point of view on a story or within a discussion. Plus, it's just a great interactive tool to be able to have added into something that's already a collaborative environment and to bring in those emojis and that way that students can quickly react to something. I'm just going to do a quick little smiley on that one. Once you add your emoji, then it's just going to live right on the right-hand side, just like a comment would. And then you're able to click on it. You can, if you've made that emoji reaction, you can add a different one so that that can then stack on top of it. So if you're wanting to provide feedback, maybe a student submitted their thoughts on the end of a movie or the end of a chapter that you were reading. Students can continue to add emoji reactions to that so that it's stacked on top. So just with that one statement, we can see there's some likes, there's some smiley faces, just those types of reactions to provide some student collaboration within your class. Also within Zoom, if you want to put your favorite emoji, I wouldn't be mad. Because I think in Zoom, you can also put in some emojis. All right, team, we next are going to take a look at within Google Docs, some updated templates that are available. Love the emojis. Yep, beautiful. All right, so within Google Docs, you now have the ability to add in some templates for tables. Within Google Docs, I'm going to navigate to the top menu bar and choose Insert. Now you've been able to enter in to add in tables, which is a great way to create a graphic organizer for students, for you to create a calendar that's interactive, or for you to have just a better way to organize different thoughts so that students have something that's a little bit more organized and laid out within that table. So under Insert, we have Table, which you can still insert. So if I wanted to do a 3x3 table, my students are going to be doing a tic-tac-toe choice board. I can go ahead and add in that table. And that just gives me that generic 3x3. But what we now have available within that table are table templates. So if you are wanting to find a better way to track student project progress, or if you're wanting to work on a bigger curriculum overhaul as you're rewriting curriculum, because that's kind of where the space where we're at right now, teachers are starting to think through, okay, what am I going to do next year? How am I going to rearrange some units that didn't quite work? Within these table templates, we have some templates that are going to provide some interactive drop-down boxes to help you better indicate and see how you're progressing through a project. So the first one, we have this product roadmap. That's going to then enter in a table. You have your project status, related files, and notes. But what's cool about this, within the status, we now have these interactive drop-down boxes. So when I click on that, I can then choose, okay, this project right now, this task, I'm in progress. Like I've reviewed my next year students' IEPs, but then my next piece, I need to now figure out how I'm going to differentiate with different units. So then my next task would maybe be mapping out my different units so that I can get a little bit more organized. I can have some pieces better laid out as I'm working through bigger projects or bigger tasks to help with my classroom management or to help with curriculum or any of those pieces. Now you'll see at the bottom here, you do get defaulted drop-down boxes. So if it's not started, if it's in progress, or if it's been launched, but you can also add and edit those drop-down boxes. So if you don't like launched, which I don't particularly like that phrasing for an in-classroom task, I can click on that and change that wording of it. And then you can also change the color of it as well, because it comes with those defaulted colors, but you have that ability to customize those different colors as well, or add in additional options. Now we're going to see these drop-down boxes come up again with our different table templates that we have available. So we have a review tracker. Again, similar idea with layout. We have those drop-down boxes. We'll just have some different headers available. And then project assets. Or you're also able, let me go to our last one, content tracker. So if we've been working with quite a few schools where at this point in the school year, they're thinking through revamping their curriculum. So if you're wanting to review or do an audit of your current curriculum, or if you're trying to look through different publishers and trying to find different curriculum available, this could be another way just to help you stay a little bit more organized as you're working through those different curriculum pieces. Alrighty, last feature that I really want to highlight, and we're going to see this come up again in a couple other of our applications. When we are in Google Docs and we're in a Google Meet, we are able to project, we're able to share directly from our Google Doc to our Google Meet. So if you have somebody who wasn't able to be in person, maybe it's at your department meeting or your faculty meeting, you're able to project directly to that Google Meet. So in the upper left-hand corner, we're going to see we have our Google Meet icon. You'll click on that drop down, and then you can choose to start a new meeting or use a meeting code. So every Google Meet is going to have a Google meeting code for you to type in, and then you can present this document directly to your Google Meet. Really great productivity, plus to be able to just pull up your document right away and not have to search through it as you're already in a Google Meet. You can have it ready to go, and then you're able to go ahead and present it directly to your Google Meet. And again, we are going to see that feature in a few different Google applications. We're going to see it in Slides, Sheets, and Google Docs, and I believe Drawings as well, that to be able to present directly. All right, so those pieces that we just talked about, you will notice in my Google slide presentation, I do have some different pieces linked in here. That's going to bring you to more information about those different features. So if you're wanting a review of those features or to pass along what's going on, go ahead and click on those, and then you'll be able to get some additional information for those different features. Any questions on those updated features with Docs?
We're looking good, Kate. I love everyone's emojis. So fun.
I know, but I think the emojis is my favorite.
I know, I love it.
I'm gonna start incorporating that to all of our webinars. Just
yes.
tell me how you're feeling with 2 emojis.
Love it.
All right, Google Slides. Not too much has changed as far as the interface for Google Slides. So you are still able, like I have my Google Slides available right here. You are able to present directly to your Google Meet. But you also have available in Google Slides, and this is available in Google Docs as well, but what they have, what they call Smart Compose or Smart Reply. When you start typing in a Google slide presentation or on Google Docs, you're going to see that it's going to provide you with some suggested next words or next phrases. It's a huge time saver as you're writing out any content on Google Docs or Google Slides. But if that's something that it's more annoying than it is helpful, if you're wanting to adjust that, you can change your settings if you don't want that to be available. But I will say, if it's not working for you, we'll take a look in the preferences so that you can see how you can turn it off or turn it back on. Those smart replies also are available when you are making comments on any within Google Slides. So it's going to read what you're writing and then provide you with some suggested next words to be able to help you more easily finish out your comments. You're going to have a huge time saver to have those suggested pieces come up and be automated for you. But if you're not seeing that, we're going to navigate to the top on our toolbar within Google Slides, and then we're going to choose Preferences. Within Preferences, you'll see you have Show Smart Compose Suggestions and Smart Reply Suggestions. So that's where you're able to turn those off or on if you're not seeing them. So that predictive text is going to help you save a lot of time. You'll be able just to start writing, and then you'll see it's going to provide you with your suggested next pieces. The last new thing I wanted to really highlight with slides is that now in Google Classroom, you're going to be able to have originality reports for Google Slides that previously was only for Google Documents, but it's now available with Google Slides. Last week, we talked briefly about originality reports and how that's a great tool within Google Classroom. So now not only can you check run an originality report for students' Google Documents that they submit, you can now also do it for Google Slides. Really great tool to help just with that plagiarism piece, but also to help with those teachable moments so that students know when to add in their original content so that you can really see what they know. And that's really the goal of it, to be able to help support students with submitting their own work. Also, if there's any Portlandia fans out there, that's where this GIF is from that I'm showing you all right now. All right. And I'm going to quick bring us over into Classroom so that we can see what those originality reports look like again. So I'm going to navigate to classroom.google.com and click into my classroom. Okay, so when I create an assignment, I'll put my title, I'll put my description, add any attachments that I want to have. And to be able to turn on that originality report or to check for plagiarism, on the right-hand side of my assignment, I see I have at the bottom of my assignment options, I can hit that check mark. Now, if you have the upgraded Teaching and Learning Edition or the Education Plus, you'll receive unlimited originality reports. So any assignment, you can turn those on. If you don't have those editions, you still get originality reports, but you'll receive 5 for that classroom, which is really great because then you could use those 5 for those summative assessments that you have with your students. So you're working through a project, working through a paper, through that writing process or through that project process, and then being able to have that turned on for those summative pieces is a really nice tool to be able to have all integrated in one spot, right? I'm not having to download anything, then uploading it to another software. It's something that's built right into Google Classroom. And to know that that is now being used or available for Google Slides presentations is a huge bonus to be able to better support students with submitting their work. All right, speaking of Google Classroom, we're going to move right along. Within Google Classroom, you will now be able to schedule posts out to multiple classrooms. So within Google Classroom, if I wanted to create my assignment, but I wasn't quite ready to submit it, I didn't want to release it just yet to my students. So this is going to be our journal topic for this week. When I navigate to the upper right-hand corner here, I can choose which classes I would like to push this assignment out to. But if I'm not quite ready to release it, I'm going to click on this down arrow and choose to schedule this out. This is such a great time saver. Us as teachers, we work ahead. Sundays are our work days, right? Those are the days that we are going to be really focusing to get prepped for the entire week. So if I'm wanting to work ahead on assignments, and I'm a teacher who teaches the same course over 3 sections of students, I can schedule out our assignments, our war bump activities, those bell ringers, or any exit tickets. So I can choose when I want it to be published. I can choose that due date, and I can choose the individual topics that I want to nest this assignment under. Huge time saver again, to be able to all do that in one spot. Previously with scheduling, you had to do it individually within each individual class. And for my middle school and high school teachers, it was a time suck. And it didn't really help with working ahead or being a little bit more productive with working within Google Classroom. All right, and then we'll also see on Google Classroom, within our stream, we can add some additional post that announcement for our students, and then we can add those attachments. Now with announcements, I can also announce this out to multiple classes. So if we have a field trip next week and I want to submit this to all my students, I can choose that, that down arrow next to post in the lower right-hand corner and choose to schedule it out. So then that's going to bring it just for this classroom, but I can then still be able to schedule out that announcement so that I can work ahead a little bit. And I'm going to hit cancel on that guy. Alrighty, last piece that I want to highlight, and this isn't something that's available just yet, but it is coming down the pipeline with Google Workspace for Teaching and Learning and Google Workspace Education Plus. For these users, if you have that upgraded edition, you're going to have the ability to provide practice sets for students. Practice sets are going to allow students to get immediate feedback on questions that you have provided them. There's an ability as students are answering the questions as they're submitting that work for them to receive immediate feedback. I'm going to go ahead and share the little promo video that's available so that we can get a better idea about what to expect with this really great integrated tool that's coming to Google Classroom. And we're going to make this bigger.
Learning is personal. Students stay more engaged and learn more effectively when they get feedback right away. But one-on-one help for each student isn't always possible with the learning tools that exist today. For educators, having a round-the-clock tutor for each student that could help them grade classwork and give insights into student comprehension would be ideal. That's why we're creating a new tool in Google Classroom called Practice Sets, which enables educators to create interactive assignments from their existing content or from scratch. Students can get help as they answer questions, and teachers can get automated insights to know where students are getting stuck. Let's take a look at how it works. Once teachers create practice sets using existing content or by writing their own questions, our adaptive learning technology identifies the relevant learning skills for each question and finds relevant hints and resources that will be available for students if they need help. With all the typical question types like multiple choice and short answer, practice sets also have a built-in math keyboard and use our adaptive learning technology to enable equivalent answers for robust auto-grading. Teachers assign practice sets in Google Classroom like any other assignment. Students open practice sets right from an assignment in Google Classroom. As they work, auto-grading lets them know right away if their solution is correct, which helps build confidence, keeps them engaged, and prevents one misunderstanding from impacting the entire set. If they don't get a question on the first try, built-in hints help them along. When a student is unsure of where to start, they can open a resources section, which provides recommended videos and concept cards for each learning skill. Additional features include designated space to show their work, allowing them to demonstrate understanding while giving their teacher visibility into their thinking. For assignments created with practice sets, you will have enhanced features in the Classroom Grader view. Teachers get a quick view of class performance and can see student work for every attempt they make per problem. Automated insights reveal class-wide trends, so teachers gain visibility and can adjust their teaching plan if many students struggle with the same question or concept. With practice sets, students get the help they need faster, and teachers get actionable insights about their class. We understand that no two learning journeys are the same, so we're building tools that work for you.
So that last link that they showed, if you do have that Google Workspace Plus or Google Workspace Teaching and Learning upgraded editions, you can choose to be a part of the beta for it. If you are interested in checking that out, just to have a little bit better idea about what's all involved, you can sign up to be a part of their trial, their beta test with that. Alrighty. And then last piece again, which we've seen already in Google Docs and Google Sheets, or I'm sorry, in Google Slides, how we can present directly to a Google meeting. Again, it's going to save you fewer clicks. You can come right to your presentation and use that meeting code to join to present either your Google Slides presentation or your Google Doc. All right, team, we ran through it. We got so many fun new updates coming to you all from Google Workspace. We are going to go ahead and wrap up. But if you do have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And then lastly, I do have a quick survey for you all to complete. And that'll get you some certificate of participation. So you'll navigate to bit.ly/PDFB2022. And that will give us a little bit of feedback, but it will also allow you to choose if you would like a certificate of participation for your time today. I do just want to circle back to where we can find our updates that are upcoming. So if you are interested in seeing additional Google Workspace applications and what's coming up, or if you're wondering if your admin may be asking some questions, this is a great spot to have the most up-to-date pieces and what's coming up for all things Google. All right, team. That's our time for today. Unless you have any questions, feel free to log off. Otherwise, please feel free to reach out to our team again. We can be reached at pd@bloom.com. Thank you all so much for your time today.